Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I have a couple of cards made with the Queen & Co. Jar of Love Shaker Kit, and they are made using a technique that I am calling tone-on-tone, pattern-on-pattern backgrounds because it involves heat embossing with clear embossing powder on pattern paper. I have two cards to show you, so let's get started. I'm grabbing out two different pattern papers from the FLIRTY Florals pattern paper matte stack, which comes in the kit, and I'm putting anti-static powder tool all over those pattern papers. Now I have a blue pattern and a pink pattern because I'm going to be doing some monochromatic coloring on each of these cards. So I'm going to grab some stamps, and the stamp set comes with a bunch of flowers and a bunch of hearts. So for the blue polka dot paper, I'm going to be stamping with a bunch of the little flowers, and I'm just setting them up on the block in a small pattern. So you can see there's just even enough space between each of the flowers, kind of makes a little pattern just on the block right there. And I'm going to stamp this multiple times to create an entire background. I'm using Versamark ink, which is an embossing ink that will stay wet long enough for me to put embossing powder on top of it. And you can stamp the entire 6x6 paper without having to start pouring your embossing powder. The ink will stay wet that whole time. So I'm just moving the block around and trying to get into those open spaces and create kind of an organic pattern on top of the pattern paper that already exists. So you can see there that I've stamped some flowers on top of this dots pattern paper. And I'm going to pour some, this is clear embossing powder. So it looks white right now, but when I heat set it, it will heat set clear. And that will basically make the pattern of the flowers just a darker blue and a sort of raised and shiny blue compared to the rest of the pattern paper. Now we're going to work on the pink paper. And for the pink paper, I'm going to use the hearts from the stamp set. There are a couple of hearts. There's a large heart, a medium heart, and then a little cluster of tiny hearts. So again, I've placed them together on the acrylic block to make a pattern, and now I am stamping the background. Basically, I like to start at one corner, kind of move outwards and cover the middle, and then go into that last corner diagonally across the paper. That's how I find it easiest to do this. And I do like to stamp some of the images off the side. It's okay if it's not perfect because it's really going to be kind of subtle. So it's not like you're stamping it in black ink and you're going to look at it and be like, wow, that pattern is not perfect. It'll be fine. So now I'm pouring that clear embossing powder on top, and I'm just tapping off the excess there. And you can see those hearts on top of the little butterfly background. Now I'm going to use my heat tool. I've got it nice and hot. The reason that I did both stamping and pouring at the same time was so that I could do both heat setting at the same time. You really want to keep your heat gun nice and hot and move it around the paper quickly. It's thin pattern paper. If you hold it too close for too long, you can scorch it. So definitely be careful there. And now you can see that sort of tone-on-tone, pattern-on-pattern background that we've created. To put together the rest of the card, I'm going to die cut some of the dies that are included in the kit. There's a mason jar and a couple of tags. I'm going to cut the mason jar out of blue cardstock and pink cardstock. I'm going to cut the regular tag out of blue cardstock and the heart tag out of the pink cardstock. So again, I'm going to create these monochromatic cards. I pop out the center of the foam shape that is included in the kit. It's a little mason jar, and then I lay it on the card. So I'm just peeling off that backing there and then laying where I want it on our pattern paper backgrounds that I have cut down to about 4.5 by 4.5. Now I've also cut out the centers of the mason jar. That all comes with that one die, and I'm going to adhere those into the centers of the jars, and now I'm going to put the shaker goodies inside. So I'm using pink on the pink and blue on the blue, and then some of the clear in both. Then I peel off the top protective layer and lay down the acetate pieces that are already die cut perfectly for your shape. I did die cut the pink and the blue frames, so I'm going to lay those on top using some tape runner. I die cut the jar tops out of silver foil cardstock, and then I die cut the little fabric that comes out from the jar out of different color blue and different color pink, just to have a little bit of contrast there. Okay, now I'm going to stamp on the tags. I have a dark blue ink, which I'm going to stamp on my blue tag, and then kind of a bright pink to stamp on the pink tag. The kit also includes twine, some baker's twine in sort of a teal and white and then a pink and white. So I'm going to use those to tie my tags onto the top of my mason jars. And this is going to, again, just go along with that monochromatic look and really highlight the pattern on pattern background that we created with the stamps and embossing. Once again, I'm going to tie that blue tag onto the blue mason jar using the blue and white twine. And there you go. You have 2 card panels. This was done in literally a matter of minutes. Even creating the backgrounds was very easy. I'm going to lay this on top of a white square card. I think the card panels were 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 and the card bases were 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. So that completes my cards, except for a little embellishing. I decided to use a couple of the gems that were included in the kit. Again, you get some blue gems, some pink gems, and how fun is that to create your own background? It's got that slightly glossy look to it. So there used to be some companies that would create gloss-covered cardstocks, and they would have patterns like that on them. So now you can create your own. It's very simple. It's easy to do, and you don't have to worry about getting matching embossing powders or inks because you're just doing clear. So if you're interested in any of the products that I used today, they will all be linked down below. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can do that here and be the first to see my videos as they come out. You can check out my blog, and I'll have a couple of other videos that you might be interested in right here as well. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.